Get ready to innovate and organize your workspace with Metro. As the industry leader in storage and distribution systems, Metro is here to transform and organize your kitchen. With their premium solutions, you'll experience the Metro difference. Metro's sturdy and versatile shelving units, workstations, holding cabinets, and utility carts are designed to streamline operations and maximize your productivity. Don't settle for imitators. Metro products last longer and offer unparalleled quality and durability. Plus, the many customization options ensure that your space is tailored to your unique needs. Hey, we use them here at Walk and Talk. Say goodbye to chaos and hello to order with Metro Shelving. Visit their website or contact them today to start designing your perfect space. Metro Shelving, your partner in organization and efficiency. Hello, Food Fam. This is the Walk and Talk podcast, where you will find the perfect blend of food, fun, and cooking knowledge. I'm your host, Carl Fiadini. Welcome to the #1 food podcast in the country. We are recording on site at Ibis Images Studios, where food photography comes alive, and I get to eat it. First things first, last week it was story time with restaurant expert Krista Lepore. Everything from celebrity encounters to chefs to their relationships. Front of the house, back of the house. Very interesting. Check it out and be entertained. Go back and listen. I don't know about you, but I love feel-good stories. And we have one for you today. Yes, our guest this week, Nickey Boyd, went from baker's apprentice to corporate executive pastry chef to recently becoming a finalist on the Food Network's Spring Baking Challenge. You know this was an uphill trek. Stay tuned. Pastry chef Nickey Boyd is on deck. Chefs, we've been using Metro hot boxes, shelving, and even their mobile prep cart around the studio, and we couldn't be happier. Thank you, AJ and Brianna. If you're planning on reorganizing your kitchen, well, life will be easier. Be sure to contact our friends at Metro, your partner in organization and efficiency. Jefferson, don't you appreciate where parts of the food industry is heading? I mean, 30 years ago, it was very rare to have a female or a person of color running kitchens. Yesterday, Chef Nickey and I spent about an hour on the phone, just getting to know each other, building some rapport. And her story is one to be noticed. I'm excited about this super excited about this episode. And I know, side note, I'm super excited also about what you're cooking today. And we have a guest in studio, Chef Jason F. Lynn. He's cooking too.
Team Bronzy.
Yeah, that's right. Now, nobody knows what you're talking about. Like, only some people. What are you talking about?
They definitely do know. They listen to the show. They know we got bronze.
We get new listeners every day. What is that? Tell everybody.
So what is it, about 3 weeks ago, about a month ago, we went to a competition in Hastings, Florida. It's a bacon, cabbage, potato competition for the ACF, and it was sustainability and no lights, no electricity. Lights, yeah. No stove electrics, let's put it that way. And there's no running water. So we had to come up with something and do it. Lance Cook got silver, and then Jason and I got bronze. So we call ourselves Team Bronzy. So that's what we're going to do. That's where we're going with that.
And I told you not to come home if you don't get gold. But here you are. Yet you're here,
Yeah.
All right. So and you know what? It was a fun episode too. Listen, people, go back and listen to the episodes, man. Like, I don't know. They're all good. I don't know what to tell you. But all right. So listen, what are you cooking today? Because you explained it to me and I'm ready.
Well, I mean, listen, one of the things about Florida is it really doesn't have an identity for cuisine. Like, if we've always talked about it, if I say cheesesteak, people go Philly. If I talk about thin crust pizza, it's like New York or something else, or like maybe even like New Hampshire with Greek pizza, deep dish pizza, Chicago or Detroit. So there's no indigenous like food for Florida, but everyone calls a grouper reuben Florida. So I did my own version of this. We did some Latin spiced pan-seared grouper. I did a togarashi slaw, coleslaw to go on it. So let me go back. The original grouper reuben, Swiss cheese, rye bread, Thousand Island dressing, and a coleslaw, seared grilled or blackened or fried grouper. That's what you get locally. Those are the choices. So I wanted to take mine up a notch. So I did togarashi, which is a 7-spice Japanese.
Can you say that?
Togarashi.
I don't know anymore if you're pronouncing right. After Vietnamese, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
he's nodding his head. I'm saying
lychee,
T-O-R.
lychee, lychee.
Okay, wait. We already talked about that because my neighbors that are from Vietnam called it lychee.
I have trust issues with you. Okay, I'm just saying. Like I'm putting it out there.
Well, I can't enunciate. That's fine. I can cook though.
you can throw down. No, you can cook. You can definitely cook.
That was that's why I gravitated to cooking. I didn't have to write or talk.
How you're becoming a professional podcaster is incredible to me, though.
Well, when you have disabilities, you just keep on going.
keep on trucking.
You be determined to do something different with your life. Challenge yourself.
You got to keep on cooking. And, at the end of the day, Chef Jason did give you the nod. I saw that.
Right.
I saw that.
The wheels of the bus just went off. Jason, John's going, come on, get back on track. So the togarashi is a really layered spice from Japan. It's got black sesame, white sesame seed, and some other different ingredients in there to kick it up a little bit. I was going to do Cajun, but I realized that my Cajun spice is in the studio. So that's why I switched to, it's on the shelf next to the refrigerator. Yeah. When Pooch was here, he needed it. So then I had to switch to that. Then I did a key lime mayonnaise to go into it with a little agave to give it some sweetness to it. And then I went with the Thousand Island dressing. I said, we're doing mayonnaise, ketchup, which is the mother sauce in North Carolina, mayonnaise and ketchup. And then there's their wickle pickles. And then I chopped that up, put it in there, some shallots to give it some spice. And then instead of using Swiss cheese, I'm using Gruyere. So I can't wait.
I can't either.
Yeah. And then steak fries.
Yes. Yeah. Look, fries. You know what? I like fries, but to tell you the truth, at this stage of my life, I'm not wasting the space, man.
I know.
Give me the protein. I want the.
So you don't want me to do pasta next week?
That's different because in that case, that's the main player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Give me the main player is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm also going to do some dishes for John because he gave me a list, so that's why I'm going to do some stuff for him, like chicken franchise.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely bring good bread though. We got to sop up that.
You know who to go to for bread. I mean, I can do it, but we all know even Jason knows who we need to get the bread from.
Yeah,
Amy,
of course. She sent over our happy podcast day text, which is nice.
Yep.
Amy, we're shouting you out. Between you and Fiona, I don't know.
Well, I got to give a huge shout out real quick to my buddy Chris Cubey. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Cubey, who's up in Connecticut working his butt off.
You should start doing like the restaurant version of the happy birthday songs.
No,
I'm kidding. We're not doing that ever.
God, no.
All right, what do we have here? Without further ado, I think I'm going to bring on
the cafe, part of the Cafe Con Leche group.
Yeah, I think we're going to bring Chef Nickey on. Chef, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So first of all, let me just say congratulations on becoming a finalist on the Food Network show. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
That's how we do it here. It's kind of a cool thing. We're kind of a big deal, Nickey. So, you just kind of roll with it. Why don't you take a minute and give the airplane view of who you are, what you do, and how you got there. Walk and Talk podcast, now sweetened by Noble Citrus. Bite into a juicy crunch tangerine, 40 years perfected, seedless and oh so tasty. Or savor a starburst pomelo, the giant citrus with a unique zing. Don't miss autumn honey tangerines, big and easy to peel. Noble, generations of citrus expertise, delivering exceptional flavor year-round. Taste the difference with Noble Citrus.
Okay. So I'm Nickey Boyd. I am an executive pastry chef. I'm originally from New York, Brooklyn, Jamaican background. I currently live in Atlanta, and I started out, like anyone else, like trying to figure out my direction, where to go, what to do with my life. And at 30, I decided I'm going to go to culinary school and see where that brings me. And from there, I just kind of worked my way around New York a little bit, Jersey, moved to Florida in the middle of the pandemic, kind of got my stride while I was there. Met my husband, who's also a chef, and we packed up and moved to Atlanta, and here we are.
And your father was a chef too, right?
Yes, my dad is also a chef up in Nantucket, actually. My mom is a great home cook. Like, she had all the great cookbooks, all of the new gadgets that came out for home cooks to like try new things. My mom had it all. And my grandma wasn't much of a cook or a baker, but I kind of learned a little thing or two from her as well. So a lot of my foundation is like from my family.
And it's, which is amazing. The fact is, you're surrounded by chefs. You go to work, it's the kitchen life. You go home, you're married to it.
I can't escape it.
Well, and why should you? Especially when clearly you know what you're doing. Right? I mean, yeah. So
I like to think so. I have to remind people that often, like, hey, I kind of know what I'm doing. But yeah.
Yeah, but you were sort of a drifter in the beginning. It was only maybe 10 years that you've been in actually been in the business?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So you were trying to find yourself, and one day you said, "Man, I should cook." And then you went to the community college over there in Jersey, correct?
Yes.
And you said, I'm going to do this. Now, were you a baker's apprentice before or after culinary school?
After. So before culinary school, and I remember exactly the last job I had before going to culinary school, I was a dishwasher at it was like a little kitchen inside of a school, and I was a dishwasher there. I worked under another like Black woman chef, and I think that's where I got my inspiration to really take that step. And just seeing how she like commanded the kitchen and just worked with grace, I was just like, I kind of like that. So after being that dishwasher, I was like, all right, I'm gonna enroll into culinary school. And then after I graduated, or before I graduated, is when I started my apprenticeship.
An apprenticeship, you're basically in there you're learning. That's apprenticeship. You're not getting paid, right?
No, that's
right.
You can get paid, but no, you generally, it's like a stage. You don't get paid.
Yeah. So, wow. And then instead of going in, the savory route, you decided pastry. How come? Baking and pastry.
I think while I was in culinary school and saw like the different types of styles of baking, I was thinking more of an entrepreneur. Like, what do I want to do for myself that can make me money if I'm like baking? And I did, like, while I was in culinary school, I did start doing like bake sales kind of, or I would bake for my church and do cupcakes and little mini cakes for people. And I would do it for free just to kind of get my foot in the door. And I did like savory, but I just figured in my mind, not knowing much about like the culinary world, in my mind, I was just like, oh, I can start a business baking cupcakes rather than how would I start a business as a savory chef?
Right. And what's amazing to me is because 10 years is just really just a blip on the screen. And to go from apprentice to, regional, pastry chef for a restaurant group, a sizable restaurant group, is pretty amazing to me. Not to mention, you start getting into the accolades with, magazine articles and moving into Food Network sort of status. I mean, that's pretty amazing. What actually happened? What was it that occurred that brought it from, hey, I'm in the kitchen over here, and all of a sudden, bam, I got the promotion, and all of a sudden, bam, I'm on the Food Network. How did that? What went down? How did that go?
So I So after my apprenticeships, and some two of them were in bakeries. So I was like, okay, bakery seemed easy, early mornings. I have the afternoon to myself. Like, it was fun, but then it got kind of boring. So after my last bakery job, I was like, okay, let me try out a restaurant now. I got a job as a pastry cook at a restaurant in Jersey City, and I loved it. Like, I loved the detail that got put into plating a dessert, or being able to come up with so many different styles of desserts, and like taking something simple and elevating it. I love that aspect. So from there, I kind of just like latched on to whoever I could to learn more. And just every restaurant I worked in after that, it was just like, okay, who's the best person in this restaurant aside from my pastry chef? Like, who's the best that I can latch on to, learn from them, and then keep going? And I kind of just did that for like my whole career. And then now I had a goal too. Like, I've always had goals where I'm like, hey, this is what I eventually want to do. Or this year, this is the goal I'm setting for myself. And while I was in Jacksonville, I was like, how cool would it be to be a corporate pastry chef, to where I'm running 4 or 5 or multiple locations, different cuisines, and kind of just pushing myself like outside of my own limits, because obviously I'm Jamaican. So we have a certain style of cooking and baking. Then now here I am, a pastry chef for a Japanese restaurant, 2 Italian restaurants, a steakhouse. So it's like just doing something that I know would push me past what I think I know, and just keep learning. And that's how I got to where I'm at now.
And that's so cool. And, part of our conversation yesterday, we were on the phone for about an hour. And
yeah,
and it I don't know that we're going to take it exactly there, but it got pretty hot. So obviously you're a female, and African-American coming up in this industry isn't easy, and we all recognize that. And the fact is, you blew it up. Like, you didn't just like, hey, I'm going to make a go of it, and here I am. No. You said, hey, I know X, but now I'm going to learn Y, Z, A, B, C, D through the whole letter chain. So now you're learning it all in your category in pastry and baking. That's fantastic. But how challenging was that? No, of course, you're very welcome. How challenging was it in your experience from the beginning to where you are now?
So it came with a lot of challenges. Like, I wouldn't say that, me being female or my skin color is what made the challenges happen, but it definitely played a part in, once I got into a position or a role, that played a part in how I was treated. But like, I looked at the fact that when I was in culinary school, I was like learning next to people who were fresh out of high school. So, the opportunities for them were different than they were for me, because at the time, like, I lived alone. I had to pay rent. I had to pay bills. I had to take care of myself, as opposed to these 17, 18-year-olds who live with their mom and can go like work for pennies, work for like $5 an hour, $10 an hour, whatever the minimum wage was back then. Whereas me, I'm like, okay, I can't do that. Even though these are the top restaurants in the city, I can't work for pennies. I need to work to be able to survive and live. So it was hard to like go into a kitchen where all of the people were younger than me. And kind of sometimes my boss was younger than me, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm here to learn. So teach me whatever you can teach me. But then as I got further in my career is when all of the other obstacles came, where it's just like, oh, well, you don't know anything because you didn't work here, or you didn't go to this school, or no one ever came out and said I'm old, but they treat you that way, where it's just like, I don't know. But it's like, I feel like I thought it would get easier the further I got, and I feel like it kind of got harder, because obviously when you're at a lower level, people treat you like you're at a lower level. But then once you get up to a higher level in a better role, you would think they start treating you better or respecting you more, and they still treat you like you're a lower level person. So I think that's where like the obstacles and the hardships came in, where I'm just like, well, damn, okay, cool. And I think that's where my drive also came from, where it's just like, all right, well, since you want to treat me like this, I'm going to show you that I'm better than you. I'm like, and it's not even just like I'm cocky kind of situation. It's like, no, I worked my butt off to get to where I am. So I'm going to demand respect without even saying it. Like my resume is going to speak for itself. Like you're going to see that even if you're a savory cook, I can cook better than you, you know? So I had to like really push myself to that point of no one's going to give me respect. I have to respect myself enough, but I also have to demand it in how I work.
Yeah, it's funny. Excuse me. I know it's funny because last week we were talking to somebody. We were talking to the front of the house and the back of the house, the wall. Not many people talk about the wall within the kitchen. How do you balance the savory side and the pastry side when you're in your restaurants? Like there's a different mindset. Those cooks are totally different than pastry cooks.
Oh, absolutely. Like in every restaurant, it's a universal thing that in every restaurant I've ever worked in, pastry was the least respected. They would eat our prep. Like everyone would eat our prep and think it was okay. They would use our station if we're not there and leave it dirty or just a whole bunch of things that would happen and I think that's where people call it me being aggressive, and I don't know how to take that. But this is where like right now I have about five employees at all the locations I work at. And I have to keep beating into their head, like, listen, guys, like if you don't demand respect from these people, they're going to walk over you. They're going to come to your station and just take things without asking you. They're going to like talk to you crazy. They're going to eat your prep. They're going to do all the things because to everyone else, pastry is kind of like at the bottom of the food chain, where honestly, we are not. We are the last people that the guests experience. We're the last meal they have, and we make the lasting impression aside from the server. So it's like we should be like more respected than we are. So I think what I started doing was just like I said, like demanding that respect, like letting them know, like, listen, at the end of the day, I can do your job, but you can't do mine. So this is where we're not the same.
And that's like where I was going with that, because a lot of times you see what, like we talk about when a restaurant loses sales, the first thing to go is marketing. What's the second department to go? Like
Pastry.
After pastry.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I was doing
They'll get rid of the pastry chef and they'll teach one of the line cooks how to plate a dessert, or they'll even like they'll get rid of the entire dessert, the entire pastry department, and they'll start buying desserts and have a line cook plate it.
So I was at the American Culinary Federation. I don't remember where we were at a national convention, and Duff was on stage, and we were asking questions. And I asked the question: there are two lost art forms, or one that's losing and one that we've lost. One is butchering, and the other one is pastry chefs. And he looked at me like I was crazy. But think about this. You just said if you have sales that are down, the pastry chef goes. Then where do they turn to when the pastry chef goes and they can't have the consistency?
Yep, they buy it.
They buy it and then do it. So the buying aspect of it, they're looking at it, the ROI. It's a lot easier to go to your broadliner and go, hey, just give me 4 of these chocolate cakes, 7 of those, and whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
I mean, my opinion, and I could be wrong on this, but it seems to me pastry and baking, it's more science than,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it from that perspective, there should be equal respect or more. They're like alchemists in there. You know what I mean?
You know why? And I'll
Exactly.
tell you why, because I love both. And I was always the one that if I wanted to become a great chef, you have to learn both. You have to play in both fields. The reason why I say that is because the ones that don't treat pastry chefs like what she's talking about is they fear it. They don't know about it. They think it's stupid or they just don't understand it. And they don't want to deal with it. They don't have the time nor the patience. When you're a savory chef, you are wired differently than anything that you can possibly think of.
Well, when you look at it, though, you're talking about. I can see where you would buy from your supplier if you had a giant banquet, or I see that there's applications where you would want to do that, right?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I wish that happened to me when they sold tiramisu for 600 people.
Right. No, but they didn't.
And I had to make it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a party right there. But when you're talking about a restaurant, or just like your standard size eatery, man, make it because it tastes better. Like you can't compare. You know, when you have a good pastry chef, you can't compare quality to something that you're going to bring in from your broadliner. Like, give me a break. Like, you can't do that.
And I'll be honest with you, my favorite Chef's Table episodes are the ones about pastry and Jody Roca of the Roca brothers. There's no other. There's no other. He's one of the best pastry chefs in the world.
And it so when we've done a lot of video at Walk and Talk Media, you know, or different series and everything, and some of the best footage is pastry. It's beautiful. Shows like the colors, like with your video, your cameras. Doesn't get better. Look at John.
Tell them what John said when we were looking at the rack catalog.
Well, I didn't catch it.
You want to say it?
He's shaking his head no.
He said we were looking at something. I was looking at the square plate, and then they had this round. The dessert had squares, and they had squared it off, but one was like a log, like cylinder. And he goes, "That plate would be great with Robert's desserts."
Oh yeah.
So, but that's like the intricacies. Like that's what I mean. Pastry is on a different wavelength. Like all chefs are wired differently. When you get to like the guys like Jody Roca, like Stefan Raymer from Walt Disney, Henri from the Chocolate Guy, those guys are completely on another level than most people. So what I think about what I think about pastry must be going around. It's like, listen, I have an excuse. I'm an old Jewish guy.
I'm looking around. I'm like, what? Do I have to edit this today? Like, what the hell is going on here? Oh my God. I feel like we're in a nursing home.
Oh, do you need some water?
No, it's not water. It's not water. It's called allergies. It's summer in Florida.
Oh.
It's called nursing home is the next stop. That's what it's called.
Well, I'm already there. That's what my doctor said yesterday or 2 days ago.
Oh my goodness. All right, get back on track.
So anyways, the pastry is where the different mindset is. But when you have somebody that combine the two of them, so do you do savory, chef, or no?
I used to. I don't care to work the line ever, and I've done it. Actually, one of my jobs, I wanted to try out a country club because I'm like, all right, I've worked in restaurants. I'm tired of working service, tired of getting off at midnight. So I worked at a country club in Jacksonville, and they were being bought, and they were like, okay, we don't want a pastry chef. So you either work savory or you have to find a new job. And I was like, I am not working savory. And in between me finding a new job, I had to. So I had to learn saute. I had to butcher meat. I had to break down chickens and all that. And it's like, all right, cool. Like, it's not a terrible thing, but I do take my pastry mentality and bring it to savory, where it's like, I can make you a dish that might look like a dessert, but it's not. It's something savory. But it's also the way my mind works with flavors. Like, I incorporate a lot of savory into my desserts. So if I'm making something savory, I'll incorporate something sweet or what you think would be sweet, but I'll like add a different twist to it that you like. It'll be a mind boggler. Like, you'll eat it and you'll be like, wow, what am I even freaking eating? You know? But yeah, no, I'm good on savory. Like, my husband's a savory chef, so I'm good on all of that. Like, we compare ideas, we brainstorm together, but I think I'm good on all of that.
What about the show itself? What I did recognize, that episode of the Spring Breaking Championship, those were some really good competitors.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like I had Alex number one. There's every time I saw Alex up until where things started going a little bit south for him. And then I was like, okay, what about Steven? And then what about Robert? And I'm like, there's Nickey. There's Nickey in the background. All you heard was Nickey, your flavor profiles. Nickey, your flavor. And that's all we heard. So talk about some of that.
And that's how I felt about it too. Like, I remember in the very first episode, after seeing how everyone baked, because I love French techniques and French cuisine. So when I met Alex and started seeing how he bakes, like, he's old school French, and I was like, yep, he's my biggest competition. Like, I didn't see anyone else. It was like the entire time, it was like every time they asked me, who do you think your biggest competition is? Alex. Like, everyone was great, but I know, because I know my style and what I like to do and what I'm pushing myself to do, I'm like, Alex is it. And I want to Like, I learned a lot from Alex. Like, he's amazing. And he was such a good competitor where it's just like, hey, Alex, do you have a recipe for this? And he's like, sure. So yeah, like, yeah, he was it. Like, that's why I was surprised that I even made it as far as I did, but also made it as far as to have to do a bake-off with him and beat him out. I was just like, what is life right now?
Yeah, and in fact, it was tiramisu that you beat him out on. It was the
Man,
tiramisu.
I'm so sick of freaking tiramisu. Like,
you know what?
I'm so sick of tiramisu.
Hold on a second. I am too. Even though it's delicious, I'm sick of eating it. I mean, I've had it all my life. But
wait a minute.
I'm talking about homemade stuff. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about homemade, awesome, delicious tiramisu. I don't want to eat it anymore.
No, but I was going to say is, remember when we were in Dallas for the World Food Championship and the family, Russell's mom made that tiramisu, that deconstructed tiramisu. That was one of the best tiramisus I've ever eaten.
Yeah. I recognize the deliciousness of it. I just don't want it anymore. I don't want cannolis anymore.
Oh my God! If my friend Don Rizzo heard that, he would tell Rizzo. Donnie Rizzo.
You tell Rizzo that I said that I'm tired of cannolis and I'm tired of tiramisu, and you're not going to change my mind.
He'll eat yours. Trust me.
Don't you stay away from.
I don't like either. Like, I don't like Italian food at all. Like, sorry, guys.
Whoa.
But yeah, I'm not a fan.
No, she's more into aki and saltfish and bammy.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Whoa, slow down, Nickey. I thought we were pals.
Hello.
So, listen. By the way, my grandmother's oxtail would compete with your oxtail.
No,
I'm telling you right now.
Now, I won't say my oxtail, but I don't think your grandma's can compare to my mom's or my dad's.
My grandmother's
I'm
oxtail
sorry.
Listen, everybody who was making oxtail were poor. And guess what? They all taste good. And my grandma's was fantastic.
Let me tell you something. They're not making oxtail now because it's not.
Well, now it's another story. But
all right, I'll tell you this: if you want really good oxtail, you have to go to Nantucket, go to Stubby's, and my dad is there whipping some up. That's if you want some good oxtail, that's where you can go.
Don't challenge me.
All right, when you come down back to Miami, you can go over to my wife's uncle Alfred. He's the chef over in an Asian restaurant, and he has the best Jamaican oxtail probably I've ever had. Hands down.
All right,
that's why I knew about aki and saltfish.
This sounds like a lot of challenges going on here.
That's real.
All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the Food Network. So that was so in your life, do you rank or rate this Food Network experience? Is it in the top tier? Or was it just like okay for you? Like what was that about?
It was definitely top tier. Like, it was definitely one of those things where, aside from all of the craziness that happened around it, I can look back and really be like, wow, like, I accomplished something that I set my mind to. And it's not just yes, it's a personal goal, but it's a goal that I was able to showcase on national TV, So it's definitely one of those things where I can be like, I was on Food Network. A lot of people can't say that.
Talk about getting in from beating Alex and the social media aspect of it, because I saw some stuff going around on social media.
I mean, there's got to be tons of drama.
Because it got bad where one of the judges had to come out and actually say,
yeah, it got rough.
Really bad.
I think people, they watch from this view where it's like, oh, well, Alex was better the entire season, and now they pretty much made it seem like the network made me beat Alex. And it's like, no, if you pay attention, and if all these people who had so much to say were true fans, they would know from way back when the freaking show started that each bake is a new bake. So no one's comparing, hey, so Alex did great this entire season, but he had one bad bake. Let's make him win. Rather than, or Nickey was kind of, up and down, and boom, here it is. How did she beat Alex? It's every single bake is a different bake. So for us going into that bake off, it's just like I didn't know where my mind was. I just knew I was there for a reason. I know I'm gonna do what I've been doing. I'm gonna do what I do every day in my kitchen, and that's put out good desserts, make something that is me putting myself on a plate. And that's what I did. Like Alex is very traditional. I'm very untraditional. So, it's like, okay, here's a key lime pie. Cool. You're going to get a key lime pavlova because I'm going to, like, that's how I bake. That's my style, So getting to that point and beating him, it was like, I was shocked. He was fine with it. Like, we hugged it out. We talked it out, all that. And he's just like, you deserve this. The internet took it to a whole different level. Like, Alex was better than Nickey. Nickey shouldn't have won. Nickey only won because she's Black. And that's what, like, and I kind of didn't pay too much attention to the comments that were being made even before we got to that point. I think at one point when we were top 5 and the Food Network posted our picture on their page, I had someone comment like, oh, I want any of those people to win except Nickey. She looks ignorant. And it's like you're judging me based off of what you see on TV, which I don't know what people saw to think I was ignorant, to think I was mean. There were people that said I was a bitch to Robert. And it's like, how? Like, how are you getting that from a few clips that you see every now and then? So I think people just go in with a bias. Like, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, you have people that go in with a bias, like, okay, I'm a brown person. I'm going to root for the person that is brown because they're a good representation of me. So then on the flip side, on the negative side, you have the people who do the same thing where it's like, I'm definitely not rooting for this person because she's Black. So it's the sad reality, and the things that came from it, the comments, people literally like put these things as their post on social media to the point where, like, I was upset. Because I'm just like, in a moment where I make it to the finale, the top 3, and I should be celebrating, I'm here like blocking people from trying to send me messages, like hate messages, or blocking comments, or like just kind of speaking my mind without directly coming at these folks. Because at the end of the day, like, they don't deserve my explanation, but still I wanted to express how I was feeling about it.
Yeah, but it wasn't just the two. Wasn't just you. It was also the other two also had it too. It was like a whole setup for it, from what I understand, because that's what the judge said. You got there because based upon what you produced and how you produced it, and then went back to the rules.
Yeah.
Nickey, yesterday we talked a little bit about this, and you said it right. In competitions, in life, and whatever, get judged by what you put out. And I feel like you're right on the money there. There's going to be ignorant people from every side, from every color, from every religion, from everything. And, unfortunately, now with the advent of smartphones and social media, all of these people have a voice and or an outlet, I should say, to voice sometimes very, ridiculous or insulting opinions. And that's what we deal with. I mean, I do, and I told you this too yesterday. I scour the comment sections constantly for all over because I just kind of want to get a feel for what people think. Now, the only challenge is you never know, like, if these are, you don't even know what's real anymore. If these are bots, if it's made, like, is it paid for? Like, nobody knows anything. Social media is like a black hole. You know what I mean? It just sucks up everything like galaxies. You don't even, it's.
And it's like we talked about yesterday, we can think that, okay, it's social media, block it out. It's just bots. It's fake. It's whatever. But the reality is a lot of the things that were being said are things that I've either heard from other people in person or have experienced, like I told you yesterday, like, I had a white chef tell me he didn't think that I had 2 college degrees because he had none. Pretty much insinuating like, hey, because I don't have it as a white man, then you shouldn't have it. And I've had that, and I read between the lines. Sometimes I'm way off. Sometimes I'm on point, because it's like, when you hear it enough, it's just like, well, damn, why can't I have anything? Like, I've been to Nantucket multiple times. I love Nantucket, and we all know Nantucket is not for cheap broke people. So because my dad lives there, I used to visit it a lot. And I remember I brought back a bottle of wine from the vineyards up there. I brought back a bottle of wine for one of my chefs, and he literally looked at me and was like, "How have you gone to Nantucket and I have not been yet?" I'm like, what do you mean? Like, my dad lives there. I hang out there every summer. Like, And in that moment, I was kind of like naive to what he was saying, but it was just like, oh, okay, now I get it. Like, so it's a thing that happens often. And like I said, we can look at what is said on the internet and kind of just like be like, oh no, maybe it was just bots. It's fake. It's not real. It's just internet trolls. But it's the reality that the things that were said on the internet is what people think or even say out of their mouth in person.
It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, because the truth is, we all have to share, and I'm keeping it culinary too right now, but we all have to share in this thing. And if you put the energy and the time and the effort to learn your part of the business, and whether that's, you know, pastry, you know, gosh, any saute, whatever, being a server, your knucklehead host or hostess, like whoever, everybody has to we all live together and we all have to work together and we all have to get along. But, you know, I want to take this back to what I said in the opening monologue, because it's a feel good story. The reality is you have beaten odd over odd over odd over odd over odd. You've come a long way. And, you know, I remember 30 years ago how the kitchen was. You know, I was young. I was more than 30 years now. Golly, man. I hate doing math. I hate math so much.
Yeah, obviously that's why I was laughing.
Yeah, that's why you're laughing. So,
because you're thinking you're in your 20s or 30s and you're not.
When I was 15 is when I started, you know, as a busboy or whatever.
35 years ago.
Yeah, shut up. So, yeah, but I remember just from back then and being in the business, I remember how it was. And I remember you didn't see female chefs. You didn't see persons of color as chefs. In fact, most of the kitchens were Caucasian-ish. You know, they were
male-dominated.
Yeah, male-dominated. So, but now you go any kitchen you go to today, it's very diverse. You know, and you can say, you know, and people could say it's good, it's bad, or whatever. The reality is we're all in this business together, and food and spirits, you know, cocktails and whatnot, all of these things bring people together. And I think we've come such a long way, and I'm thrilled of where we are today. I mean, it's not perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but man, we've really come a long way. So this is in spite of the negativity that Nickey, that you dealt with on the show over there, man, it's so awesome. And it is positive. So congratulations again on that.
Thank you.
You know, I'll go back to it, and I have this saying, and Jason's going to shake his head when he hears it. Racism is the religion of the ignorant. Bottom line, if we all teach other about our cultures and our differences, then there is none, and we don't have to fear it. We break down barriers. And the way to do that is at a table in community. When you do it, because you've done it all your life, battling it, as you were stating, not just on the show, you just were... I didn't see it. I was naive to it, but then you've gone through it. Some of the greatest stories you hear about people, the greatest chefs, is the trials and tribulations that they did to get to where they're at, and that you've done that. So congrats.
Thank you.
Especially with the
something I said yesterday was like one thing I always look at is like, how does me, and I said this what's your name, Carl? Sorry. I said this. I said how, like, one thing I always look at whenever, especially when I'm like in a situation like where people are judging me based off how I look, or am I qualified, or do I belong in the room because, you know, they are in the room too. Like, one thing I look at is how does me being me stop anyone from being them? Like, how does me being like awesome, you know, because that's what I present. Like, I walk into a room like I own it, and it's not to be cocky, but it's to say like, hey, I'm here, you know, like my presence is here. Like, I walk in and with like such poise and grace to where it's just like, I'm going to walk into every room like I belong there, because I know there's people looking at me like I don't. So I always wonder, like, how does me being like overly zealous about what I do, me being, you know, passionate about my work, me being passionate about being a strong Black woman, how does that stop anyone from being them? You know, so it's sad. It's sad, but like we said, it's positive. You know, I look at a lot of
I think I can lay down a little bit of an answer to that, because obviously, yeah, there's ignorant people who do look at genders and colors and all that stuff. But I think universally, there's a lot of people who, when you do have passion and positivity, and that means you have confidence, they automatically hate you no matter who you are, because they can't,
insecurities in themselves.
Exactly. They can't process the fact that they are lower than you. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. If you possess those traits, they look at you and they hate you. Now, they may not outright hate you, but secretly they do. And I think that's a big part of it.
What was the winning reward for those Stephen who won? What was the prize
for winning the show?
Yeah,
$25,000.
So I'm going to say, I watched the Great British Baking Show. It's great. There is no prize except a dish, and I get to be the baker for that season. So there's no monetary amount. What I was surprised about with your episode, specifically with a $25,000 reward on the line, right? Or award on the line. You guys got along so great. Was that that was not acted out? That was you guys just you bonded, correct?
Yeah, we all definitely bonded on because we were there for so long. We were there for so long, having to see each other all the time. So we had no choice. And I'm an introvert. I'm a hermit. All I need is a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and a good TV show. Leave me alone. I will be locked in my room. And for the first couple days we were filming, I literally did that while everyone was going out and hanging out and getting to know each other. I was like, nope, I don't want to know anyone. I'm here for a purpose, and that's it. But then as I started talking to everyone, we started sharing our work stories and things like that. We started developing this friendship where we are still friends. We all still talk, but yeah, it was all real. It's at the end of the day, it was just all right, we know we're here for a reason. We know we're competing. Somebody has to win. So it is what it is.
The show producers probably hated the fact that you all got along.
No, they loved it.
Do they really? Because usually they look for that angle, to push
some shows.
Yeah, a lot of shows do. Yeah.
Yeah, but
even if you look at some of the previous seasons, a lot of them got along as well. A lot of them, if they're in each other's cities, they'll go hang out and things they I used to look at it like that too. How are they friends? They're supposed to be competing for money, but then I got into it and it's okay, I see how.
I thought we were friends until you hit me with you don't like the Italian food thing. I
forgot your name.
I said I didn't like Italian food. I ain't say I don't like Italian people.
Whoa!
I'm not a fan of Italian food.
Okay.
I'm more of a rice person, so I like Asian food. I love curries. I love anything with a sauce that just the rice soaks up. And I guess it's just for me being an islander, but I love anything with rice and you put a meat or something with the sauce on top, and it's just spicy, sweet, all that. That's what I like. So
flavor.
Nothing against.
It's just flavor. And the flavors are different, man. Scotch bonnets bring a whole nother flavor, bro.
I'm out of here.
Exactly.
I can't even do that for them. I can't bring Scotch bonnet sauce in here because they don't think they can handle it.
What are you talking about?
That one couldn't.
He can. I can. Talking about.
I have guava and cucumber in mine.
Bro, bring it on.
All right. I got the plants popping them off, so I'll bring it.
What am I, afraid of you? Good to get. Bring it.
You just want to eat.
Yeah, feed me. Damn. What are we talking about?
Snap.
I have a question for you since you're a baker and you're Jamaican. Cassava pudding.
Okay.
Can you make cassava pudding?
I can.
Oh, I need that recipe on the fly. That is the dopest stuff.
No. Forget the recipe on the fly. She got to come here and make it.
Okay. Let's get her butt down here then.
She's in Atlanta. It's not even that far.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
7 hours.
Less than that. Yeah. It's 6 hours to South Carolina.
Nickey, you going to come down and cook or bake?
Sure.
Or bring some cassava pudding.
Or bring cassava. Well, yeah, bring the pudding, but then we're going to do some real beautiful, colorful.
You have no idea what about the cassava. It will change your life. It's that good.
I love cassava pudding.
I'm not down for any more life changes, man. You know what I mean? Like I just I'm looking for some smooth sailing. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm looking for at this stage. You know? Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. I'm tired of life.
You go to Christopher Cross now instead of Foo Fighters?
Yeah, well, no, always Foo Fighters, man. But we'll do a little Christopher Cross as well. You know, a little sailing away. You know, to where I'm going. Yeah, right. Oh my God, take me away. All right, so, Nickey, chef, what's next for you?
I don't know.
She's gonna have a book.
Like I've reached.
She's gonna have a book coming in.
Like a area and a stage in my life where I'm just like I'm content. You know, whatever comes next, like comes next. Like I've reached the parts of my goals where I was just like, I'm like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to accomplish. Like little things too. Like I remember when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, I want to be an eater. I didn't do anything special to be an eater other than just exist. And boom, like they reached out to me like, hey, we would like to do an article on you. And I'm just like, wow. So I think I've reached where I've wanted to go. Now, anything else that comes by is just a bonus. And I'm excited to see what else falls in my lap or what else knocks on my door or anything. I'm open.
How does
I don't know what's next.
How does the win, or how does it being on the network and the show, how's that affected the life at home? The dynamic, anything, or like how does he handle the PR for you?
He loves it. Like my husband, like, so the way we met, there's a short story. The way we met was when I moved to Jacksonville, Florida. He was one of the chefs at one of the restaurants I applied for, and he hired me. We never worked together. We didn't date and work together or anything. Like he hired me. By the time I started working, he was already gone from that job. He moved on to something else. And we stayed in contact and started dating. Ever since then, he always, so anywhere we went, anywhere he met people, he's just like, this is the best pastry chef in Jacksonville. And he always like just put my name out there, put my name in rooms that I wasn't in. So he, like from day one, he saw the potential in me and saw that I would do great things. So now that we're actually living it, like he's just sitting in it and just smiling like, good, I'm finally happy that people can see in you what I saw day one when I hired you. So, and I put him on too. Like he's at a point in his career where he's just like, I don't need any of that. I don't need any accolades. I don't need to be recognized because I did my part. I paid my dues. I'm good. I just want to cook. But every now and then, like if someone says, hey, do you have anyone you want to recommend for an article or for a story or whatever, I definitely throw his name in there because it's like we got to win together.
Well, the food scene in Jacksonville, St. Augustine is pretty strong. It's a super foodie town.
Yeah,
Is it?
Well, St. Augustine is.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, well, Jacksonville is a little less.
Yeah, no,
Jacksonville a little less. Jacksonville has some areas.
It's South Atlanta, or South.
They're getting there.
But
they're definitely getting there.
St. Augustine is a foodie town, and I was shocked at that too. I started going up to St. Augustine a few years back, and started to get to know, some of the local chefs over there, and it's pretty serious. It's like the community, the people who actually live there. It's a real foodie town.
There's actually a baker up there. She was on the Dr. Zeus Bake Off, and she's been.
Rebecca Reed.
Yes, Rebecca. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
That is my home. So funny story. She's the one that threw my name at the people at Food Network for them to reach out to me for the show.
She told me that story because I was telling her about how we had Robert on the podcast when I was in Hastings, where we talked about Team Bronzy. That's where I met her. She was actually doing bacon, like a dessert, but it was savory. She was the only one doing a dessert with bacon, making it savory, popcorn and all this. Like it was a trail mix, but it was really good. And everybody else was doing something with it was a savory dish. And she's just
what's her name?
Rebecca. We need to get her on the show. She wants to come on the show. She's been on several cooking champions.
She won Chop Sweets a while back, and then she was a finalist on the Dr. Seuss show. But yeah, she and I are really good friends. Like we every now and then we'll text, but we're both like super busy, so we keep missing each other. But yeah, that's my girl.
Nickey, tell me the truth though. She's got the goods. She can throw down?
Oh, absolutely.
Dude,
Yes.
this Dr. Zeus was like they had to make worlds of Dr. Zeus themed stuff, and there was 3 competitors per each team. One was a baker, one was a sugar person, the other one I forgot it was. And these guys had to work, and they just met that day. It wasn't like they picked them and they were like, "Okay, you 3 are going to be."
Exactly.
It's like taking cafe con leche and adding azúcar in it, that kind of thing. You'd have no idea what you were doing with it. But she's really talented. Really talented. Like I said, you put savory and a pastry chef together as one, you're not gonna. There's no stopping that person. There's just the flavor profiles they come up with is just so deep, so complex. It's ridiculous, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get into pastry myself, because having that science behind the flavor and how the reactions go, and then some of the things you can do in there, mind blowing.
I think you should get into pastry.
No, you want me to bake for you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
No, Nickey, did you just hear what I said? He just wants me to bake for him.
Yeah, for the show.
For him. Oh,
not for the show. For him.
For me.
That's the best practice. Bake for someone you know, and they'll be brutally honest with you. Like, you got to do it.
See, Nickey. See, you redeemed yourself, Nickey.
Oh, wow.
We're back. We are back.
Yeah, but I can't do any Italian stuff. Sorry.
Whatever.
Nickey won't let me.
I'm not going to go to. Listen, I'm not going to go to you for Italian stuff.
Yeah, and the Cuban stuff, you can go to your mother-in-law.
That's right. I don't need to worry about this.
By the way, did you tell her that the flan was really good?
I did.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, John, the entire family was blown away by the pictures, the photography of the flan. Amazing. Great job.
I don't know if Nickey knew that we had a battle flan.
We had
it was really a battle.
Like a battle flan royale.
Well, who won?
Nobody, because it was so different. I did a smoked flan.
No. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Smoke?
Hold on. Time out. Wait, Nickey. Wait. Stop. Everybody stop. Let's get this correct. My mother-in-law, an old Cuban woman, made a traditional flan. And it was fantastic, as usual. As per usual.
By the way, she doesn't listen to the show.
No. But Jeff, he decided to do something really funky. And he did a smoked flan. Now, it was not like a flan at all, but it was effing amazing. It was really delicious, but it was not flan.
No.
So, to say who won the flan, obviously my mother-in-law did. Of course she did. It was a flan.
It depends on the rules, though. It depends on the rules.
True story. Well, that's true too. Look, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to come to the table with a traditional flan if you want to. If you want to,
I can't because I'm not traditional.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I can't. Here's the reason why. I wasn't born and raised in a Cuban household. I don't have the traditions of it. So it's when you're talking about it, I don't want to do injustice to a cuisine. I'll take bits and pieces and make it my own cuisine, as in smoked flan. And then that's why I asked Robert for his flan recipe. I have a flan recipe, but my recipe didn't have cream cheese. And so I wanted to take it to the next level. I will never bastardize another cuisine. I can't. I want to show respect to it as much as I can. And I just shut him up.
I did. I don't
Mic drop right there.
I don't say that.
Mic drop.
Somebody called.
Honestly, I think I would have smoked something too. That sounds like it's up my alley. Like I would have definitely pulled out the smoking gun and smoked a flan.
I actually froze the cream. Here's what I did. I actually froze the cream cheese and literally threw it on the smoker and let it smoke.
What?
Yep.
Huh.
Listen,
Okay.
Nickey, I'm not lying to you when I tell you that it was delicious.
I didn't like it.
Because you're
I'm
weirdo.
judging. No,
you're a weird. You're self-deprecating. It's okay,
it's not self-deprecating. It's because what I didn't like about it had a shell that was too thick on the top of it, the dome. I wanted something that had that crunch to it, like almost bruleed.
But there was crunch.
I know, but it was just too. And I had salted caramel too on it. That's what I did.
You see what I got to do here? I have to roll up a newspaper.
No,
hit
I
him
want
on
to
the
do it
nose.
again.
Hit him on the nose and say you lost. But now here I am with a towel and I'm wiping his face and saying no, it was really
3.0.
delicious, man. Like
Version
No, you were
3.0.
great.
man, golly, I tell you what.
Version 3.0.
Where's my newspaper?
I got to do it again. I want to perfect it the way that I want it.
All right, enough. Silence. All right, listen. All right, Nickey, chef. Mm-hmm. We got to get you here at some point, and we're do really cool stuff. And
not August or September. It's too hot.
well, yeah, but at the end of the day, we need to get John and Nickey together.
Oh yeah, the food photography.
Yeah,
forget it.
All right, Nickey, how does everybody find you? What's your preference? Instagram? What is it?
Yes, Instagram is where you'll find me. Chef_Nickey_. Nickey is spelled Nickey. And that's where you'll see all of my things, all my pictures, little reels, stuff I do at work.
It's going to be fun. Listen, again, congratulations on the Food Network. Congratulations on everything. You're awesome. We're going to wrap up now. Chef Jason, thanks for coming in. I can't wait to see what you're cooking up here today also.
Bacon wrapped filet.
Bacon wrapped filet. All right, John's giving me the roll. All right. Jeff, John, Jason, Nickey, everybody, thank you, and we are out.
Thank you.
Let me tell you about my friends over at Citrus America and their amazing juicing equipment. They're revolutionizing the way you enjoy freshly squeezed juice. They're at the best hotels, restaurants, and markets. Their mission is simple: develop a unique consumer experience with on-premise juicing, deliver healthy taste options to clientele, and juice more faster. It's that easy. Citrus America supplies the highest quality juicing equipment and solutions in the industry. So whether you're a small business owner or a large corporation, Citrus America has the right juicing equipment for you. Find out more at citrusamerica.com.